up in the lifestyle that I came up in, you tend to look at women differently, especially when you were raised the way I was raised, brought up the way I was brought up. You know, came up around the type of individuals that I came up around. You know, and it's like, this is food for thought for ladies who have sons. It's like coming up in an era and a lifestyle that I came up in. It's like a physical attraction is okay. And that's exactly what I mean. It's okay. Okay. Because there are so many elements to building a relationship, if that's what you're looking for. And building and making a relationship last are two completely different fucking things. And when I say completely different things, you can meet a motherfucking nigga tomorrow and start a relationship. I don't mean you're gonna build shit with that motherfucker. You might waste 5, 6, 7 years of your motherfucking life with this clown. You know? But you can build, and your kids can visualize y'all together. And you can be the ideal candidate for everyone in your family's relationships. They'll always refer to you for years, decades to come. But here's the catch-22 of that shit. Coming up in the lifestyle that I came up in, you learn to look for so many things, and beauty is one of the last things that you look for. The last thing. If that just so happens to be, then that's a plus, an additive, a great additive, you know? But it's still obsolete, like a motherfucker. And what I came up around was, one, you want to know that this individual is not selfish. Most importantly, not selfish, not self-centered, not egotistical. We all want loyalty. We all look for loyalty. Loyalty is very important. But you could have loyalty and little motherfuckers just loyal to themselves and they don't want to play themselves, you know, and make themselves look stupid. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're loyal to you or dedicated to you, you know. They're just loyal to selves and what they're invested in, you know. I've experienced that before, me personally, you know. And you can also have yourself in a situation to whereas you can be to the point to where you have no respect, you have no dedication, you're very combative, you can't seem to get along with the individual. And in most cases, when you see people that can't get along with you, usually in most cases, guess what? They really can't get along with anybody. And it's a cycle. And you just have to look at their history of relationships, or their dating cycle, to see what that is. And it just mainly depends on the individual. See, people don't just have problems with you as an individual. Usually, in most cases, it's a cycle. And that cycle is continuous. And I learned this from being around family. I'm not going to say no names, but, you know, I learned this from being around family. In most cases, they're the most combative people. And it's just a cycle. And it constantly goes over and over and over and over and over again. And we run around the world and we want to blame every individual but ourselves for all the problems and the trauma that we experience in life. And yet we never take the time out to dig deep down within self and say, well, damn, everywhere I go, I have problems. Everywhere I go, I have conflict. Every time a conversation develops, there is some sort of combatants going on. And we never take the time to think and say, well, damn, maybe it's not all these people. Maybe it's me. But neither here or there. Who the hell am I to talk about somebody, criticize somebody? Because like I said, I'm imperfect. I have my own problems as well. And here's the funny thing about it. I'm not ashamed to say it. Not one bit. I'm problematic like a motherfucker. I enjoy being problematic. Call me what you want. I don't give a fuck. But anyway, you have to teach your sons and your daughters to look out for these type of things in individuals. Because what you can do is you can allow them and teach them to go through a lifetime of chaos, hell, and bullshit, and to constantly endure turmoil. Constantly. And for the most part of the situation, you're always wondering, why isn't anything working? Why is it so many problems? Not knowing that sometimes we have to reevaluate self, and meaning we need to reevaluate our choices that we make in people, choices that we make when we're hanging with people, dealing with people, dating with people, seeking advice from people. Man, look, I ain't gonna talk about that at all. We tend to seek advice from people who have no experience in what we're dealing with or what we're going through, and no experience in valid solutions that they can lead with by example. I see this all the time. All the time. And it's just like, in most cases, we want the advice, but we want the advice that feels good for us as an individual. We don't want the advice that's going to tell us that we're wrong, tell us that we fucked up, that we're delusional, and every goddamn thing else. That in most of the situations, the problems that we endure are ours. We don't want to hear that. And it's sad, because if you are not able to see the flaw in self, then you will never correct it. You will constantly live this same repeated cycle over and over and over and over again. And in most cases, you're to blame, but here's what you're going to do. You're going to blame everybody but self. And I see this happen all the time. All the time. We as people need to stop and think about the decisions that we make in life. We need to learn how to accept people for who they are in life, most importantly, and learn how to deal with every aspect of life. And ladies, here's something funny for you. For those who have sons, I want you to think about this. for everything that you put out into the environment, you are teaching your child to accept a certain thing if you expose them to this lifestyle that you're living, whether it be bad or good. And everything that you have a problem with in life, it stems from what you've seen coming up as a young adult or a child. And everything that your child sees in you can be deemed that it's okay through you. Then you end up with a child, with a son, with a baby mama that you can't stand, a little bitch. You can't stand that little faggot motherfucker. Ooh. You know what I mean. But you can't stand her. And it's like, then what do? You're mad at her, but in the actuality of it, she is a product of your karma. Fellas, oh man. Dude, say, man, you square niggas ain't ready for this shit. Y'all ain't ready for this shit. What I'm about to put out here. Cause see, here's the thing. I come from a different breed. See, my mama always told me, hey man, stay out of love affair business. Stay your punk ass out of love affair business. Stay out of relationship shit. I don't give a fuck if it's me, your sisters, your daughters. Stay your ass out of relationship business. Because you don't know what the future gonna hold. You might do something to them, they might do something to you. And guess what? Either way it go, you're in a damn trick bag. Because if they're not ready to let go, they're not gonna let go. But see, that's square shit. That's duck shit. You know, that's not a part of my environment of where I come from. So y'all wouldn't relate. And here's what we have to keep in mind as men. The exact same thing that we project to women, our daughters and our mothers and our sisters can be introduced to the same type of trauma. Karma is a motherfucker, man. And I'm not just saying this for men. I'm saying this for women too. Because women do a lot of things and they never pay any attention to it. That your son could be going through karma that was bared by the parents. Because sometimes some people never answer for the karma, or we never see them, but it turns into a generational curse. And then our children have to bear that burden. And man, that's one of the worst things I think any parent will want to see their child go through. Them having to bear their karma or bear their burdens from the past mistakes that they've made in life. Man, that's a hard pill to swallow. I mean, an extremely hard pill to swallow, man. Like, I've had to watch one of my children go through something that I've had to endure over my lifetime as a young man, around the time when I was his age. And it's like, you never really want to see him go through that, man. But it's like, sometimes like I said, sometimes your kids end up bearing your burdens and your karma. And we never pay any attention to it. And for the most part, it's like, what do? We want to give them enough game to save them. But in actuality, guess what? It's nothing that we can do to save them, because it's meant for our children to bear that karma. Because we created it. And it's rough. But I have a story to tell about my children bearing some of my burdens that I've actually seen, my siblings bearing some of my burdens that I've seen, that I've been cause of the effects of what they endure. And it's like, what do you do? It's like you feel completely at full fault to blame. But it's like you want to help them, but you can't help them. And it's like sometimes you have to find a way to accept it. But y'all be mindful, man. Be very mindful. Watch what you do in life. Please. It could be the funniest thing in the world until it ain't funny.